All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to start our second panel now, and I'm pleased that I can kick off our next panel, which is using legal education to increase equitable participation in NRCS conservation programs. So today we're going to hear from 3 speakers, and we're going to hear about some of the USDA, or United States Department of Agriculture's Natural Resource Conservation Service, or NRCS, conservation programs, particularly ones that are of interest to small and beginning farmers. We're going to hear some more about the new Cultivating Conservation program, which is designed and to target small producers and other growers that don't typically participate in NRCS programs. So our speakers today are Bianca Soto Gomez, who is a supervisory district conservationist with the USDA NRCS, based out of Delaware. We have Dr. Sarah Hirsch, who is an agricultural extension specialist with the University of Maryland Extension, based in Somerset County. And we have Sarah Eberhardt, who is a senior legal specialist with ALAI. We're going to start off by hearing from Bianca about NRCS and some particular programs of interest. So Bianca, you want to kick us off? Oh, I'm just going to hop in. Bianca, you're muted. So if you could unmute your speaker, please.
No, okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry that this is. I'm going to share with you guys information about conservation programs. Let me share with you a start. I'm going to pretty much explain a couple of things, also provide some experience that I have as a conservation, working as with NRCS, and also provide you some information so you can be ready to go to the next step. So the first thing that I'm going to talking about is the assistance program that we have. So you can see that our NRCS is a federal agency, and the key for us is to help the people, help the land. Also, we work together with you guys, with the producer, customer, can be owner. We're going to identify natural resource concern, so erosion and also water quality plan issue that you have in your land. Plus, we're going to also develop a unique conservation plan so you can keep and improve those protecting resources that you have in your farm. We have conservation program. We also provide technical assistance. So that means that if you need some financial assistance, we will help you in that process. As well, if you don't really want to have that financial assistance, we also provide you technical assistance. So it's to give you an idea that what we offer to you. One of the things that we have, a very popular program that we have, is we call Environmental Quality Incentive Program, or you can hear about Equitable. That is, Equitable is a program that helps the producer apply this on their land. Also, in this financial assistance, we provide both financial and also technical assistance to work with you. And we also provide this program is better to help you to improve. That means the air, the soil, the water quality, any problem that you have, conserving water, preventing soil erosion, improve the wildlife habitat, impact from climate change as well. So these we pretty much all year round we accept application. So NRCS, some states have a specific sign-up date. That is the date that we call, but you stop anytime in the office and request some advice and also to apply for any of our program that we have. This year in 2020, NRCS invests 1.3 billion to help producers implement conservation practice using this program, the Equitable program. We also have a program that we call Conservation Stewardship Program, or you can also hear about CSP. CSP is a good program if you already worked with us in previous years and also in program. Also, if you have records of your farm, and or maybe possible that you already have everything in place and you only want to improve better and keep doing better job in your farm, this will be a good program for you. This is pretty much NRCS work in terms of acres. We want to cover the most acres that we have. And in this case, we help the producer to do conservation activity. You can, we call enhancements, or you can do also conservation practice using the Conservation Stewardship Program. And we also apply, as the rest of the program that we have, we accept also application year-round. This year, in 2020, NRCS invests 533 million to help producers. So that means they cover approximately maybe 9.6 million acres using this program. If you have a land that you want to maybe convert or protect because it's a wetland, or you want to restore the area for productive agricultural land, I think that this is another program that will be very helpful that you can be considered. Agriculture Conservation Easement Program. Pretty much there are two types of these, we call ASEP. Those two types are the Wetland Reserve Easement and also Agricultural Land Easement. Those are the two types of agricultural conservation easement program that we have. And for 2020, NRCS invests $333.4 million, pretty much to apply for some of the for fourth, and they cover around 430 new easements for this program. I want to mention, you guys, that I have this program to you, but this is to give you an overview what we really have as to offer to you. You can come in and pretty much you can ask, well, I know that your situation. So that is one of the things that I want to let you know, that at least you have aware what we have, but as a planner and also part of the federal business, we're going to find what is the best option to you and which program would you maybe will be eligible to apply for us. We also have another program that is Agriculture Management Assistance, MAA. This MAA we have in Maryland and also in Delaware. Most of the time, we work together with the Equitable program. So if you have Agriculture Management Assistance, pretty much help these producers that maybe need to improve the water system, the water management structure, or need maybe possible irrigation structure. We offer that option also for we call it Environment Incentive Program. But the difference between Agriculture Management Assistance and the Equitable is depend what type of irrigation you're looking for, and or if you have already irrigation in place. We need to decide what will be the best option for you. Most of the time, when there is a new producer that wants to install a new system, and depend what type of system, we maybe recommend to use Agriculture Management Assistance because you don't have records. In the case for environment, Equip, you're required to have some records. So just to give you an idea that for this program, we also have include several conservation practice that can help you. And you can see that it's available only in 16 states, and it's depend of the federal crop insurance program that is historical low. And for 2020, NRCS invests $8,143,000 in 22,142 acres. Now I'm going to explain you more about this process. I know that it's hard sometimes to figure out why it takes so long to receive funding or to receive that need or that assistance that you require very quick. We follow some steps to do a conservation planning. Plus, also we work together with Farm Service Agency and also the Soil Conservation District. So we try to provide you the best plan that we have available, so your farm or your research concern can be resolved and you don't going to have any problem in the level state and also with the local county as well. So we follow these 8 process, 8 step. The first one is identify problem and opportunity. Pretty much when you come to NRCS, this is a volunteer program that you're welcome anytime, but you need to be clear what is your situation, what is your concern, what is your issue. And that is the reason that we have the first one is identify the problem and opportunities. When we say that identify, that means that we visit your farm and check what you have available. Also discuss with you the second and the third step, that is the determine the objective and doing the inventory research. And then we based on what that you have in your farm, let's see, we evaluate the condition of your soil, if you have access to the water, if you have worse is also the condition of your soil, as I mentioned before. If you have animals, if they are pretty much in a closed place that doesn't affect any water or any part of the resource that you have. So we follow all these steps to check if we can help you in additional practice that you maybe don't know that you need that practice and that maybe will be benefit for the future. So that is the reason that sometimes when we visit your farm, we find other situation that we provide you some ideas, some alternatives, some option that you can maybe evaluate and see if that works or not for you. And we provide you, if you receive funding for us in that process, after we discuss with you what with the option and alternative that we have, we pass for the next step, that is to be ranking and evaluate if you are eligible for fundings. So that is one of the things that that we need to talk continually with you as a producer to check if your goal is still in place or you need some change, so we can update that planification that we have, that conservation practice that we have in that application. To give you a brief idea, it's like right now we are pretty much receiving application. So if you come to the office, yes, you maybe we want to talk with one of the planners and check what is your research concern. We're going to have a site visit to evaluate everything that you have and check if that practice that you're looking we have available. Also, we have we received some training to update some of the program and practice that we have available in our program. And after we have all this information, we also get with you. We talk again with you and verify if you agree to continue with the process, if you agree to ranking and be able to receive funding. If you decide that you're able to receive that funding and to do that practice, then you may be able to receive funding. And when you have the contract, you follow all the regulation and the requirement that we need. Before to get the contract is pretty much application. That's mean that you're free to evaluate, to take your time to see if this practice work or not for you and will be benefit also for your farm. So I want to let you know that this is part of the process, but it's like a continued communication with the person and also with the planner, sorry. I want to also share with you that we have, we work with Farm Service Agency. This website, the fsausda.gov, you can find all the our Farm Bill program, all the program that we have available, that NRCS offer, also Farm Service Agency. And we also have another federal agency that is a risk management agency that can you also find information. And this is all the fund that we talk about. I was explained early in the slide, some of the program that we have. So you can have idea what we can help. And I'm going to also tell you that Farm Service Agency provide different type of loan. That is operation loans, farm ownership loan, micro loans, youth loan, emergency loans. And they also provide some conservation program. In this case, they have the conservation reserve program that we call CRP, and we also have conservation reserve enhancement program, that is the CREP. That is one of the program that also Farm Service Agency can help you in this process. But I want to now to change my hat and give you some advice as an owner, farmer, and also applicant that have in this process involved. I'm going to share with you that first, when you decide to make that decision to work with the federal or state or local county, be clear with your objective and goals. This is pretty much something that is very important, not only for us to have idea, also for you, so you can have a good planning in your farm and you can continue develop and improve and keep those resources that you have in your farm. The second tips experience that I'm going to share with you is keep your farm records and documentation update. It's very important to have that information available. Also, keep your continuing education credits for knowledge and also for state certification. It's very important that when you apply, most this is more applicable with Farm Service Agency. When you apply for loan or for any additional funding for a Farm Service Agency, you need to have some records. You need to show them that you continue, you have that knowledge of agriculture and you continue keep updated your information. And also the most important things is to develop your network with clients, customers, farmers, coworkers, and friends. Sometimes these will help you a lot to have access and have additional information that we have offered to you. I'm going to also show you some of the my farming operation. This is some of the picture that I have for my farm. We have a farm that we pretty much bought in 2016 and pretty much was 20 acres that we find a good opportunity to develop. And we start using, in this time, we have also a farmhouse that was in that time was not really ready to use. So pretty much we was using more the acres, the fields that we have. The CISO High Tunnel, I'm going to also tell you that we have the CISO High Tunnel. We have the opportunity to apply. That was in 2018, applied for CISO High Tunnel. And we are at this CISO High Tunnel is the size of the CISO High Tunnel is 40 by 70. And it was very hard us as an operator and looking for contractor to at least set up. We buy a kit, but was take a little more longer to us to complete and to certify that practice, because yes, was in the time that start also COVID and everything, and was hard to find a contractor to complete the work. But at least we have some friends that help us to complete the practice. And we have the opportunity, this is our second year that we use the CISO High Tunnel. And we have very success this year to use. We have the opportunity to grow some radish, some peppers, some also grape tomatoes, some oh my God, eggplants. So that was some of the things that we also was growing in the CISO High Tunnel. Our son, all these the product that we grow in our farm, we sell pretty much in the farmers market and also the local restaurant. But the most important thing that we start our business as a farming that I want to share with you. Sorry, we have some. We have a mushroom family operation. So we grow some mushrooms. So this was the start of our farming, and that was the reason. But we grow this mushroom inside of the control room. We used to have also in the inside of the high tunnel, but now we have also some rooms available in the farm that we grow different kind of mushrooms like shiitake, oysters, maitake. You can see my family with the maitake, lion's mane, king. Those are the son of the operation that we have, the mushroom that we have, and also grow as a family business. So after half these start with the mushroom, we decide that was a very good opportunity to spend our business and do some vegetable and grow and also sell different things also in the farmers market. And I want to also share with you that please feel free to contact us. When I say contact us, we refer NRCS, your local district conservationist or farm service agency. We pretty much are located in each county in Maryland and as well in Delaware. And this is some information that I want to share with you guys today. Anything, I know that you guys, if you have any questions, feel free in the end of this presentation to ask me. And I'm going to let you know that it's very important that feel comfortable to stop by and ask if we can help you. I think that one of the things that I pretty much learned in this process is you need to talk. You need to mention what is the reason, what is your problem that you have, so we can help you better. And I know that it's very hard to be working with the federal government because it takes so long. But if you keep a good documentation, and also if you keep the records, keep this continue using this type of continuing education, you will be successful. And I know that you're going to have your good time and also bad time, but be positive, because in the end, it's going to benefit not only by yourself, also the environment, and also you can provide that to continue provide your all the good things that you have in your farm for future generation and family.
Great. Thank you so much, Bianca. I'm going to be talking now about a grant project, a partnership that we're getting going. And this is a grant that is a partnership between University of Maryland Extension and University of Delaware Extension and the Agriculture Law Education Initiative. And it's funded by NRCS through their Conservation Collaboration Grant Program. And the name of the grant, or the title of the grant, is Cultivating Conservation for Maryland and Delaware's Small and Historically Underserved Farmers. There we go. All right, and so I'm going to first take a step back and and Bianca also had done some of this in her presentation, kind of take a step back and go over what are our overall goals of conservation. And this is really important to why we applied for this grant and what we hope to do with our grant. And so overall, the goals of conservation are to ensure a better natural resource quality for you, for your animals, and for your neighbors, to enhance open space and wildlife habitat, improve animal health, maintain or improve soil health, prevent off-farm environmental impacts. Some other goals are to contribute to the plant health and vigor, contribute to more productive land, make your land more attractive, and promote good neighbor relations. So that may be a goal that we don't automatically think of off the bat when we're thinking about what we're trying to get out of conservation. Another goal is to increase your property value. So again, economic goals of conservation. A lot of times we think of conservation purely as environmental goals, but we do have economic goals as well, and they go hand in hand. And then promote health and safety for your family. So those are some of the goals of conservation. And then as far as let's see if I can get the slides to advance here. There we go. As far as the goals of our project, these really go hand in hand with what the goals of conservation are. So basically, if you think of one overall goal, that would be to make conservation and all of those goals that go along with conservation readily accessible to all landowners and farmers. So we really want all of these great benefits and goals of conservation to be accessible and to be available to every landowner and farmer who wants access to them. And so this grant is trying to address the knowledge gap that exists between the target audience and federal agencies. So we want to provide education that increases the awareness of conservation and conservation practices that are out there. We want to increase the awareness of the programs that are available. And really, we want to increase people's comfort in navigating the steps and agencies that can provide technical and financial assistance. So Bianca was talking about there's 9 steps involved in enrolling in the NRCS programs. So there's also state programs and more local programs, and all of those can be pretty intimidating with all the steps. And so the goal of this project is to really help growers and landowners to help them through that process and make them aware of everything that goes along with that process. So some other goals of the project, again, to reduce the apprehension and increase the comfort level of navigating and selecting federal conservation programs. And we really are trying to make this project hands-on. So we want to conduct field trips to service centers so people can meet, so landowners and farmers can meet the folks in their local office, so they can go out to the local office and know where it is, know the people that work there, just to be more comfortable using their services. And we also want to increase the understanding of contractual obligations and eligibility. So those are areas that can be really overwhelming to people for these federal conservation programs. And then we want to think about the whole farm. And so creating a whole farm plan, helping growers to create that. And that would include both the production and the conservation practices. So really thinking about conservation in terms of the whole farm and how it interacts with their production goals and their economic goals. So a few project details. This project is within Maryland and Delaware, and so we're within the Chesapeake Bay watershed, which is of course an environmentally sensitive area. So we have a unique situation and opportunity here in this region to be stewards of our water, and we have a lot of environmental regulations and responsibilities, and so that makes this project kind of unique, that we are in that very environmentally sensitive area, and conservation could be argued is even more important in this area. And also the grant is going to target beginning farmer and women in agriculture audiences. And these audiences include historically underserved populations. So again, our goal is to make these conservation programs and services readily accessible to all farmers and landowners, and particularly we want to make these accessible to historically underserved populations. So the majority of participants in University of Maryland's Extension Agriculture education programs do align with the USDA Ag Census for demographics. So that means they tend to be male, white, and 58 years of age or older. However, the programs that target beginner and women farmer audiences tend to reach more farmers that fall within those historically underserved demographic groups. And so that's why we're really trying to key in on those audiences and focus on that for our grant program to try to increase the knowledge and the enrollment among those historically underserved groups. There are over 5,700 new and beginner farmers in Maryland, and they farm over 380,000 acres. And this demographic is often unaware of the services that are available to them, yet they could really benefit from the services and the technical assistance that agencies can offer. And I know Bianca mentioned this, but I really wanted to point out as well that it's not only financial services that NRCS can offer, but also that technical assistance. And a lot of growers may not be aware of that even if they're not looking for financial support, they could really benefit from some of that technical assistance. So kind of talking about some of the logistics of the grant project, we do have some upcoming programs and classes. And so the classroom curriculum associated with this grant project is going to focus on 6 areas. We're going to first start from the basics and go over what is conservation and an introduction to conservation and why people should care about it and include it on their property. Then we're going to go into farm planning and helping folks kind of understand the importance of creating a whole farm plan and a farm plan that includes both production and conservation components. Then we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty technical things like introduction to available programs. So what are the funding streams if they are interested in getting some funding for different practices, and what programs are out there. And that can be pretty complicated because there are the federal and the state and more local programs. So understanding how all those programs kind of work together. Then we're going to talk about contracts and regulations, and Sarah Everhart's going to talk more about that. And then a lot of what we're trying to do in the curriculum is really to be hands-on. And again, we want it to be discussion-based. We want to really get to know the farmers and landowners, but we also want them to get to know the people in their local offices. So we want to do tours of the conservation offices and actually get them to meet some of the federal and state employees that work there and get comfortable coming into the building and talking with those folks, so that after the class, they would be more comfortable to come in and make that initial consult. And then we're going to do a case study of practicing enrolling in conservation programs. So basically just doing a mock application and pretending like we were going to come in and sign up for the conservation program, again, just to increase the comfort level. Go. So all of these programs are going to be free. We're going to have some this winter and spring, and then we'll have other ones next winter and spring. They're going to be throughout Maryland and Delaware. So these are 5 that we have coming up this winter and spring. The first one will be on the lower Eastern Shore in Somerset County Extension Office. And that classroom curriculum is going to be 3 evenings in like Tuesday evenings, I believe, in a row, January 18th, 25th, and February 1st. And we will have dinners at those meetings. Again, it's a free program and kids are welcome to attend. We'll have some agriculture activities for kids ages 5 and up. So we really want to encourage anybody to come. And if you have a barrier to attending, please contact us and we'll try to accommodate, because we really want to try to increase everybody's participation and ability to partake in these. The next class is Baltimore City Extension Office, which will be March 12th. That's a Saturday from 9 to 3, and there will be lunch at that one. And then we'll have classes in Newark, Delaware, one down in Southern Maryland, and then we are going to be offering a virtual program and for anybody who's not comfortable going in person or prefers to go virtually. So the details on Newark and Southern Maryland and virtual, as far as the dates, those will be coming out soon. This is our website where we'll be posting information about the classes, information about conservation. That's my contact information. Again, my name is Sarah Hirsch. Feel free to email me or call my office phone number there, especially if you're interested in registering for one of these classes or know somebody who would be interested. We don't have the registration links live yet, but if you email me, I can be sure to get you on our mailing list or to reach out to you when we do have that registration open. And I believe that's all I have. Thank you, everyone.
All right, am I good to go, Megan? I think I'm all set to go. So good afternoon, everybody. I am Sarah Everhart. I am a senior legal specialist with the Agriculture Law Education Initiative. I'm happy to be the last speaker here. Bianca and Sarah did such a great job. I'm just going to be providing some brief highlights about what ALEI's role in this project is going to be. We're really excited to be a part of this project, and we're hoping what we can bring is some legal education that will empower all different types of farmers to take advantage of these programs. So, you know, we all know that when you're trying to navigate government programs, it can be daunting. You've heard some acronyms already today. Bianca did a good job with spelling those all out, but I'm sure we've all been in situations where we feel like we're wading through the acronym soup and it can be, you know, discouraging for folks. And so our role in the project is really to help farmers understand what they need to do to be eligible. So what are some of those legal requirements to be eligible for the program? And really importantly, what are they agreeing to? And then, you know, last but not least, how to stay in compliance. So, you know, because these are contractual obligations, things happen, and, you know, NRCS doesn't want anyone to fall out of compliance, and we certainly don't want any farmers to fall out of compliance. And so Our role is going to be laying all this out in a dynamic way, hopefully, during these education programs so that the farmers are equipped with everything they need to apply for the programs. And our hope is that, they'll be able to really hit the ground running. It's extremely important that we reach all different types of farmers with this information for a variety of reasons, but a big reason is because USDA offers incentives and program enhancements specifically to socially disadvantaged farmers and beginning limited resource farmers, veteran farmers. So these folks are sometimes eligible for things over and above what other farmers may be eligible for. So for example, the EQIP program, like Bianca was talking about before, socially disadvantaged, beginning and limited resource folks, they're eligible for increased payment rates and advanced payments. So instead of, these programs functioning on a reimbursement basis, because of fitting into those categories, these folks are eligible for advanced payments, which is a huge benefit. So we really want, all different types of farmers in our region to be able to take advantage of these benefits so that they can strengthen their operations. Where they're going to have to start is getting a farm number if they don't already have a farm number. So to get a farm number, you start at your local FSA office. And this is the kind of information we're going to arm the program participants with to let them know, hey, if you don't have a farm number, this is what you need to have when you go into that office to make that request. You're going to need some proof of identification, your farm's tax ID number, and you're going to need proof of control of the land. That can be really important for beginning folks. It's not always the situation where they're in ownership of the land. They may be renting the land. And so if you're renting the land, you're going to need a copy of the lease that shows that you're going to have control over that land, for the program period. So I'm giving a little promotion here to an ALEI resource that could help folks if they need to form a farm lease. This is our Agricultural Conservation Leasing Guide. It's available on the ALEI website. We've got a lot of great leasing resources. So if you are interested in this and you need a farm lease, it's got some great tools to try to help you there. The thing about the farm number is that it doesn't go with the person, it actually runs with the land. So, important to check with FSA first and see if the farm already has a number because, that might save you a step. Bianca talked about establishing some objectives and goals, and a great way to establish objectives and goals for folks if they're starting out is taking advantage of the opportunity to have a soil and conservation and water quality plan formulated for the farm. So, it's a customized plan that is really going to help people identify issues on the farm and hopefully prioritize and organize what conservation practices, are appropriate and when those should be phased in over time. Conservation plans are typically something that's voluntary. However, if you're going to go ahead and participate in most programs, conservation programs, they're going to be required. So it's a great first step. Getting into a little bit of the eligibility requirements. So there are some limitations for participation. There's adjusted gross income limits. And so you're going to have to give some income information to the folks at NRCS so that they can prove that you are eligible to receive those benefits. If for some reason the farming operation is in excess of those limits, they can still participate. They just might not be able to get financial payments. There's also going to be payment limitations for each program. So if the farm is already enrolled in a bunch of programs, that's something that you're going to have to talk about. And I'm just really talking in generalities today because, as Bianca said, there's a lot of different types of programs, and each of these programs sort of has their own rules. One eligibility criteria that is going to be across the board is that farmers are going to be ineligible to participate if they're engaged in any kind of controlled substance activities. And that may seem sort of like an outlier. Why is that worth talking about? Well, things like, unauthorized hemp production on your farm could be, a situation where someone, unintentionally stumbles into a problem there. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. All right, down to the nitty gritty, understanding the fine print. bit of a unique contract situation. So for the lawyers in the audience today, if you're representing clients who you think are going to be participating in this program, the contract doesn't look exactly like we're used to seeing legal contracts in other situations. The contract's really made up of 3 parts. The application, there's going to be an appendix document, and there's probably going to be a conservation plan. And all of those documents are actually going to be a part of the contract in the case of EQIP. That's the example I'm giving you today. And so when a farmer signs the application, in the case of EQIP, they're actually agreeing to participate in the program if the contract's approved. And so before your client signs that application, it'd be a good idea to have a conversation with them. If it's a great idea for farmers, if they don't understand what they're signing, seek some legal advice. Make sure you understand what you're signing. That's always something we advocate for very strongly at the Agricultural Law Education Initiative. Sit down and have a conversation with folks like Bianca who can walk you through what some of those contract provision means. And retain copies of all 3 of those documents, because all 3 of those documents are part of that contract that you're agreeing to. All right, so, anytime you're signing a contract, we like to think about the what ifs. So we're going to encourage participants in the Cultivating Conservation Program to keep in mind who's responsible for the maintenance. So depending on what kind of practices we're talking about, there's going to be required maintenance. There's going to be NRCS specifications for that maintenance. And so the person who's agreeing to do that maintenance, that's an important part of the puzzle. What happens if the land is sold? And so, I've been aware of some legal conflicts, unfortunately, in my part of the state that has arisen because of this, because these practices, they're really tied to the land. And so if a piece of property is sold, we're in this crazy hot real estate market right now. We've got a lot of farmland selling. It's really important that that contract be assumed by the new owner. So extremely important thing to think about if you're representing clients during real estate transactions involving farmland. Most of these federal programs, they're not going to show up on a title search. You're not going to see a lien that's attached to the property. But if a property is sold and that conservation program contract is not assumed by the new buyer, you could be facing contract termination, having to refund the payments, and liquidated damages. And so, no one likes liquidated damages. So want to keep in mind that if you're selling farmland, think about the fact that conservation programs are going to have to switch hands, or there could be some real serious consequences there. Anytime folks participate in these programs, they're going to have to agree to abide by some environmental protection requirements. These are referred to as sod buster and swamp buster. And the reason they're referred to as sod buster and swamp buster is because they're protections for highly erodible land and wetlands. So farmers have to agree not to produce commodities on highly erodible lands without a conservation system, and not to convert wetlands. So compliance, want to try to keep our participants in compliance with these programs and the terms of the agreement. Couple different ways that someone could stumble into some non-compliant situations. They could fail to complete the practices as scheduled in the contract. There's going to be a schedule of implementation. Losing control of the land, the situation I was just referring to. If a conservation practice fails within its lifetime, or really any other sort of failure of one of those provisions of the contract. What we're going to try to communicate with folks, and it is, I think, a good thing for everyone to remember, is that farmers can work with their local NRCS offices to modify contracts before a violation occurs. So, NRCS has the ability and their discretion to modify contracts. And I think, I'm not going to speak for NRCS, but my understanding is that, they would rather hear from a participant and try to work with someone before there, ends up in a contract termination situation. So if anyone's got any questions, that's my contact information. And I think at this point, we're going to open it up to some questions in the chat.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah and Bianca and Sarah. There is definitely a lot to know about NRCS conservation programs. There's so many options for growers for them to learn about and to consider. So thank you for going over those and for talking about the Cultivating Conservation Project. So if anybody has questions in the audience, now is the time to put them in the chat box, and we'll read them aloud as they come in. If there's any questions specifically about the Cultivating Conservation Program or about conservation programs offered by NRCS, let us know. Let's see. One thing I'm curious about, I'll just kick it off for Sarah Hirsch. I'm really excited about this project, and I know that there have been some difficulties related to COVID-19 getting the project started and kicked off. How have you adjusted the program to accommodate some new, whatever regulations or restrictions there are on social gatherings?
Sure, yep. Are you able to hear me okay? Yep. Okay, great. Yep. So we were delayed. We got this, we got notice of the funding right at the beginning of all the shutdowns with COVID-19. And of course, the goal of this is to try to bring people together in person and meet people and go on tours. So it really threw a wrench in everything. But we are still going to hold the in-person classes now. The tours themselves of the offices will likely be changed a little bit because we may have to do like a virtual walkthrough of some of the offices. We are still going to make an attempt to see if some of the employees from the offices may be able to come in person to the classroom activities, or at least Zoom in so we could meet with the attendees in person. So we're going to do our best to make it as interactive as possible. Some of the tours and introductions may have to happen online. Another kind of positive thing that came out of the delay due to the pandemic is that we are going to have a more robust virtual option because of it. So we're going to have that virtual option that's going to be pretty interactive, and we have a teaching platform to do that on. So that may be one silver lining.
Yeah, I think the online option is going to be really important for accessibility at people's discretion. So we do have a few questions come in the chat. So I'll start with, it's a multi-point question. So I'll start at the beginning. One is, are small lots, like vacant lots in urban areas that are less than 1 acre properties, are those also eligible for NRCS programs?
Well, in this case, we need to double check what will be the practice that is interesting to do. Right now, I know that some of the practice that is available for urban agriculture is the high tunnel. So pretty much, if the person have have access to that particular place, and also have access, and also if they have if the city and also county allow them to build in that area, yes, I think that will be one option that they can maybe visit us, and we can double check if that area can be eligible. But most of the urban agriculture that we have, some of the practice, the high tunnel, can be accessed in those practice, depend what practice that he's looking for.
Okay. And I think this next part is also for you, Bianca. So in the discussion of who would sign a contract for an NRCS program, if it's a land trust or a land conservation program, if they were to own the property, would they be the ones that apply for the farmer who leases the grounds? Or would it be the farmer and the property in this type of ownership, the farmer and the property eligible in that type of ownership arrangement?
Okay. That can be very, I'm going to mention that the person that you can decide, the person can decide it will be the entity or it can be individual that can sign the contract. This is a volunteer. The only thing that we also going to need to have is that if they have access, if the land control, because the person that signed the contract need to be also have land control of the during that contract length. That means if it's the entity, all the members of the entity need to also complete all the eligibility and also be eligible for a program. If it's individual, so the individual, let's see, if they rent a land, the individual must to have that control of that lease or have control of that practice that he's going to do for that land. So that is one thing that you need to have control and provide evidence that you're allowed to use that, and you also is eligible as an individual to receive with FSA. So I know that it's possible I don't really answer the question that is specific with that, but to give you an overview, all can be entity or individual. And must to be, everybody need to sign and complete all the documentation for eligibility.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, so it looks like we have 2 more questions, and we're pretty much out of time. So after these 2 questions, we'll wrap it up. So the next question is for Sarah, and I believe Sarah Hirsch. What seems to be the most common obstacle for adopting conservation practices that you've encountered while working on the Cultivating Conservation project?
Okay, so we haven't had any of our classes yet, so I can't speak too much to that yet, because once we get the classes going and recruit participants, we have some surveys, and we'll certainly be talking about that and overcoming these barriers. But I can say, just from talking with producers and talking to producers who have talked to other producers, I think it's hard for some people just to know where to start, and they just feel overwhelmed by the whole process and everything that's involved, and like the paperwork and the timing, and sometimes like having to get paid later when the payments come. And Sarah Everhart brought up that great point where some of the historically underserved groups are actually eligible for more payments up front, but I'm not sure that they're aware of that. So just those, I would say, are some of the barriers that I think people face in my experience.
Okay, thanks. And just to piggyback off that again, so another question came in is like, what's kind of an advice that you would have for a beginning farmer who wants to start out and they don't have a whole lot of experience with, navigating the maze of programs that are offered, but they're very enthusiastic about learning. So what's some of your top advice for people that are in that situation?
I would say, like Bianca said, just come in and talk to them, because all of the staff that I've met have been super welcoming, and they just say over and over again, just come in and talk to us. Even if you're not eligible for financial payments, we could offer technical support, or even if you don't want us to come out to the farm, we could at least offer advice in the office and on conversation. So just coming in and meeting with them to get going.
Yes, and I also want to mention that the extension office, you guys have all the resources available, so feel free to contact University of Maryland Extension Office, also you guys as well, because everything is connected, and we can provide you some information that pretty much maybe us as an agency cannot provide you, but as a person, as a producer, operation, or farmer, we can tell you.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. Just don't worry about who exactly you need to ask your question to, because if you come to one of us, we'll get you to the right person to answer it.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, so I'm going to close off with one little question. I think for people who may not speak English, what other languages are resources available for them to access and learn about NRCS conservation program or projects?
So I'm going to mention that, yes, we have also people, but we have some tools that the Farm Service Agency or any also the Soil Conservation District can use. We have available like a call that we can call to a specific number, and they can translate everything. In my case, yes, I speak also Spanish. So we have in some office have available people that speak some different language. So feel free to stop by. And we also that available that is free. So we have that information available in each office that you can contact, and they can provide you what will be the language that you want to hear, all the information that you need to have. Or you want to, yes, you want to hear or want to know more about. But yes, feel free. Don't worry. I speak Spanish as well, and don't worry for your accents. We're going to work with you. It doesn't matter that we try to communicate it better and provide you that information.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this panel, and we'll share that number in the resources as well for anybody who's interested. But we're going to keep on moving. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, Sarah, for your great presentations today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.